The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Now give me my theme music!
Soundstripe.
This is a Planet Fanatix production.
Alright, I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to get in here because this was not a planned stream. This news kind of just broke. So I'm going to give everybody some time to get in, and we're going to talk about what this could possibly mean for the future of the MCU and Kang the Conqueror moving forward. So I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to get in here. If you're just joining in, I appreciate it. I see the numbers come in, so I appreciate everybody coming in. If you're just getting in, please smash that like button. Like I said, Happy New Year to everybody. Haven't seen you guys since last year, the last stream that we did. So Happy New Year to everyone. With the new year, like I've said so many times, expect to see more streams like this, to where you're going to be seeing me a lot more, whether it's just me or some of the co-hosts with me. But this is something that I definitely want to jump on way before tomorrow. I was thinking to myself, should we wait to talk about this tomorrow? But no, I think we got enough information right now to where we can talk about it, to where we can even speculate where this could possibly be going for the future of the MCU. What does this mean for the future of the MCU? What does this mean not just for the future of the MCU, but what does it mean for the MCU's future with Kang the Conqueror? So, like I said, want to talk about all that stuff. I appreciate everybody. See you, JD75. Appreciate you being here. Raptor Cloak, D Stizzle, Xavier Phoenix. Appreciate all of you guys being here this evening. So let's talk about some of the things that we kind of already knew before we jump into it. And this is kind of like this is one of those streams where we're only discussing the Colman Domingo things. Tomorrow's stream will be a regular stream where we discuss more of the news that I haven't touched on from last week and some of the things I'm sure that'll come out for tomorrow. But as far as Colman Domingo goes, some of the things that we already know about Marvel's decision with Kang the Conqueror. So let's just kind of backtrack over the things we do know here. We know that Jeff Loveness was originally going to do Secret Wars after he was the head writer for Quantumania. I'm sorry, not Secret Wars. Jeff Loveness was going to do the Kang Dynasty. Michael Waldron, who wrote for Multiverse of Madness, was always going to do Secret Wars. Michael Waldron has since been moved to doing the writing for Kang or Avengers 5, formerly the Kang Dynasty. Now that Jeff Loveness has been taken off, and this was a while ago that Jeff Loveness has been taken off. This is not new news that Jeff Loveness has, recently been removed from the Kang Dynasty. Jeff Loveness was removed from the Kang Dynasty a while ago, and if you remember, we did that whole stream where it was around that whole speculation when Marvel had fired Jeff Loveness, got rid of him, and there was that speculation that maybe Jeff Loveness was one of the Twitter pages out there leaking some of the news for what Marvel was doing. But it was a whole drama thing. But Jeff Loveness had been removed from Marvel Studios as the writer for Kang Dynasty, obviously because of the poor reception for Quantumania. Quantumania did not do what Marvel expected Quantumania to do, and because of that, obviously they made different decisions with the writing direction for Kang Dynasty, and rightfully so. As we all know, Quantumania was utter shit. The writing for Quantumania was confusing. The story even behind Quantumania, it wasn't so much, it wasn't confusing as to where I didn't understand the story. It was confusing as to what the fuck are we doing. So, that them moving away from Jeff Loveness was I feel in the best interest of Marvel. Also, we know that when the moving away from Jeff Loveness and moving to Michael Waldron, a lot of people started speculating that they were also with that moving away from Kang the Conqueror, because Jeff Loveness was the one doing all the writing for Kang the Conqueror. Jeff Loveness, if you remember, he did that interview saying he did a deep dive into Kang the Conqueror. He really wanted to bring in the Council of Kangs and everything like that. This was during that Quantumania time frame when he was doing these interviews, and when Michael Waldron got moved over to writing Secret Wars and writing Kang Dynasty, kind of some people started to say the writing was on the wall, that they're trying to move that because they want to connect some of the Loki stuff, and him being one of the writers over that Loki, they kind of want it to all kind of flow and make sense. So we heard that, last thing we heard from Daniel RPK in regards to Kang the Conqueror is that Kang the Conqueror was going to be involved in some capacity in Avengers 5, but he would not be the focal point of the phase and the big bad and things like that, but he'd be in there in some capacity. That was the last thing we heard from Daniel RPK. Now, most recently from Daniel RPK is this news here. Daniel RPK put out that Marvel is eyeing Colman Domingo to play Kang the Conqueror. And what does that possibly mean if Marvel is eyeing Colman Domingo to play Kang the Conqueror? To me, what that simply means is it's no longer a conversation of is Kang the Conqueror going to be in Avengers 5 in some capacity. Maybe it's still not going to be called Avengers 5. And for let me put this on record too. Marvel themselves have never come out and said, we are moving away from the name Avengers Kang Dynasty, and it's going to be called Avengers 5. That's strictly coming from scoopers. That's coming from Daniel RPK. That's coming from My Time to Shine Hello, Can We Get Some Toast, Divinity Seeker, and all those other guys out there. It's coming from them. Marvel Studios definitively have not put out a statement saying, we are moving away from the name Kang Dynasty. So, if that is true, and they are, and you know, with that being true, Marvel not putting out a statement themselves saying they're moving away from that title, them eyeing Colman Domingo does not then mean, in my opinion, does not mean that Kang the Conqueror is going to be a part of Avengers 5 in some capacity. You don't get an actor like Colman Domingo and bring him in and have Kang be in the film in some capacity. I feel like if Colman Domingo is being brought in or is being eyed to be Kang the Conqueror, it's because they are moving forward with their ideas for Kang the Conqueror. You know, as much as we all would like to see, and I don't want to say all of us, some people didn't want Dr. Doom to be rushed. But as much as a lot of us would like to see Dr. Doom on screen, it never made sense to rush Dr. Doom in that way. Just as it never made sense to not have Dr. Doom involved in Secret Wars in some capacity. That never made sense to me. I don't know how you do Secret Wars, but you don't have Dr. Doom involved. But how do you now pivot away from Kang the Conqueror when you've put all your eggs in that basket? The entire multiversal saga has been revolved around Kang. So, I think if they're eyeing a actor like Colman Domingo, I think it then means that Kang the Conqueror is on the table, not in some capacity, but they're going to possibly, again, move forward with their Kang the Conqueror ideas. One of the other things that we know from My Time to Shine Hello, and I think Daniel RPK also said this, and we've known this for a while, excuse me, we talked about this a while back as well, is that Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror, was going to be revealed as, I think the one that went into the one we saw in Quantumania. If I'm following these rumors correctly, it's been a while and there's been a lot of rumors, and a lot of this stuff I've stopped paying attention to with the most recent decision for Jonathan Majors when it comes to Kang the Conqueror. But the past rumors did state that the Kang that we saw in Quantumania that got sucked into wherever the fuck he did was going to somehow become the Beyonder and was going to have the powers of the Beyonder. And that is still something that Marvel wants to move forward with, and having that Kang the Conqueror be a variant of the Beyonder, or the Beyonder being a variant of Kang the Conqueror. Maybe Colman Domingo's coming in for that role. Maybe he's coming in as the Kang the Conqueror that is going to be the Beyonder, because if you know, like I said, My Time to Shine Hello talked about that earlier last week, or toward the middle of last week, sometime last week. My Time to Shine Hello talked about that. Daniel RPK talked about that. Can We Get Some Toast? All the guys talked about how Marvel is still planning on moving forward with their Beyonder idea and having Kang be a variant, or Beyonder be a variant of Kang the Conqueror. So it could be Colman Domingo coming in for that role. It could be coming, I mean, obviously he's going, if he comes in for Kang the Conqueror, he would more than likely be the face for every Kang, as Jonathan was. And again, Colman Domingo's resume, it speaks for itself. He's a phenomenal actor. You know, when we talked about what actors could we get to come in and portray Kang after Jonathan, my mind never would have went to Colman Domingo, and forgive me for it not, but Colman Domingo is a great actor. He's got a resume in the business for over 30 years. He's got, I mean, He's a great actor. What he did in Candyman was super creepy. I love him in Euphoria. The scenes he has with Rue, especially that scene when him and Rue are arguing with one another outside of, I believe, is an apartment or something like that. But that's a great scene. I think he's just a great actor. Like I said, he plays in Selma. He's played in Freedom Land. He's played in 42. Great actor. Most recent is the Color Purple thing that he's in. So yeah, like I said, I would love to see a Colman Domingo come in and in that role and portray Kang. And I do think, again, if they are pulling on names like Colman Domingo, it does not then mean that they are moving away from Kang the Conqueror. You don't bring in actors of that caliber and then you say, okay, well, we're going to have you come in and you're going to be in the film in some capacity. No, I think that he's going to come in and he's going to still be the villain moving forward. And again, in my opinion, as much as I would still like to see Dr. Doom, and I still think we're going to see Dr. Doom, I still think Doom is going to play some role in Fantastic Four. From what we know from the rumors, from, again, Daniel RPK, My Time to Shine Hello, and those other guys, is that Dr. Doom is supposed to show up in Fantastic Four, where Dr. Doom was never in Fantastic Four to begin with. Now he is in the Fantastic Four. And this was all during that same shifting when Jeff Loveness got moved over away from Kang Dynasty, when Michael Waldron got moved to Kang Dynasty. They started to move and started to shift a lot of that. This was during that shifting time. This was during those rumors. So we started to hear that that was going to take place as well. So if that is true, and we start to see, like I said, we see Michael Waldron writing now for Kang Dynasty. We see that they are wanting to still go with their Beyonder variant idea. And we now see that Dr. Doom is now supposed to play a role in the Fantastic Four, where he never was going to play a role in the Fantastic Four. And again, I believe that's because they're trying to put Dr. Doom into Secret Wars in some capacity as well. But I do not think that they're going to move away from Kang, as the rumors, as we were talking about last week or the week prior, we're discussing. I don't think that they're going to move away from Kang that easily. I think that this is going to be the better idea if this is true, if Marvel is truly eyeing Colman Domingo. But this is what CBR wrote down about it. We'll read through what they said. It says, Fear Walking Dead star rumored to potentially replace Jonathan Majors as MCU's Kang. While the future of Kang in Marvel Studios in the Marvel Cinematic Universe remains unclear, a frontrunner has emerged as a rumor name eyed to replace Jonathan Majors. Previously Kang was played by Majors in the MCU, and the plan was for the actor to reprise the role for the upcoming film Avengers: The Kang Dynasty after Majors was found guilty by a jury on charges of assault and harassment of a former lover. He was fired from his role as Kang. It's not yet known if Marvel Studios will recast the role with a new actor playing Kang, but according to the film scooper Daniel RPK, acclaimed actor Colman Domingo has been eyed as a potential replacement for Majors as Kang. And then there's, people talking about on Twitter, then it says, this has not been verified, and for now it's best to be treated as a rumor with a grain of salt. With that noted, the rumor is quickly getting attention online as fans discuss the idea of Domingo in this role. The actor is best known for the Walking Dead fans for his role as Victor Strand in the first spin-off series Fear of the Walking Dead, which just recently wrapped up its run, freeing up Domingo's schedule in a big way. He also impressed critics with his acclaimed role in the Netflix movie Rustin, which earned Domingo a Golden Globe Award. Domingo would also win a Primetime Emmy Award for his guest role on HBO's hit series Euphoria. Like I said, that was a great scene. Every scene with him and Rue are great. Then it goes on to say Domingo can be seen in a few new musical in the new musical film The Color Purple, and he also did voiceovers for the recently released film Transformers: Rise of the Beast and Ruby Gillman's Teenage Kraken. Will Kang the Conqueror return in the MCU? Domingo's potential casting can only happen if Marvel Studios execs decide to keep Kang around in the MCU. It's possible that the character will be scrapped, as some reports have suggested, in favors of replacing him with another supervillain in the Avengers movie. The issue is that many questions would be left behind if the Kang story exactly wasn't resolved in some fashion, especially after the events of Loki season 2. But it says, be that as it may, it's been reported that Avengers: The Kang Dynasty is getting referred to internally at Marvel as simply Avengers 5. So it's possible that the character could return to have his story concluded while still having his presence in the Avengers sequel, not having his presence in the Avengers sequel diminished. I still don't think that they're going. I don't. Again, if you're looking at an actor like Colman Domingo, you're not going to just simply move away from the Kang character that way. And it could be one of those things. It could be one of those things where they're saying, hey, you know, we want to bring you on just for this one movie. You portray Kang and then you're one and done and out. Again, I don't think so. This I found too. This was 2 years ago. This is an interview that Colman Domingo did. I don't know who she is, but where he talked about the next thing he wants to do is he wants to play a supervillain. He mentions Marvel by name, Marvel and DC, but he says he wants to play a supervillain. And again, if you've seen Colman act, if you saw him in Candyman, you take that Candyman stuff, you take a lot of his other roles, even some of the roles. I didn't watch The Walking Dead, but I have seen clips of him in Fear of the Walking Dead. Great, I'm telling you. I think that this could be a way forward here. But let's hear what he has to say in this interview.
Amazing. Euphoria. You've done Beale Street could talk like Common. Like I said, I'm so glad that we're seeing more of you. And also with a name like Colman Domingo, you were just always destined to be a star, I feel.
Thank you. I guess so.
Amazing.
Thank you, Melissa.
And we're gonna see more. Like Zola's coming up, which I know people are very excited about because that's a huge like Twitter thread viral thing. And then Candyman as well, which I know Jordan Peele wrote the role for you. How does it make you feel that people are writing roles for you? Like you are in their head when they're creating these amazing, and Jordan Peele is a master filmmaker. What's that like?
You know what? That's a great question. It's really humbling, and it's really, it's truly, you feel useful and purposeful because you're like, people can actually see what you can do, and people write towards your strengths. That's been the blessing lately because, you know, I have now amassed a body of work which spans over 30 years. And so people now have some idea of the places that I'm willing to go. And so usually people, when they know they want an actor who's willing to go to these really weird, dark, interesting, funny, heartfelt places, call on Colman Domingo or write it for me. So it feels great to be in that moment that people recognize my work and they're writing work for me. I feel truly blessed.
Is there something that hasn't come away yet that you would really like to do? Like if we can plant that seed in someone's head, is there something, because like you say, you've done a lot of stuff, but there must be something still, right?
Yeah, I want to play a supervillain in Marvel or DC. Yeah, I want to play a supervillain. I want to play someone.
Hero. You don't want to be the hero.
Oh no, the heroes are boring. I want to be a villain. I want to be a villain. You know, it's like Eartha Kitt said, I want to be evil. Evil's more fun to play. It's more fun and detailed. I don't know why, but it is.
Oh my God. I mean, I can see it. I could see that you would.
So yeah, they go on to talk about other stuff there, but you know, he names drops Marvel there. He says Marvel and DC, so he wants to play that supervillain. So imagine if the rumors are true and they really are eyeing Domingo to play Kang the Conqueror moving forward in the MCU. If he gets that call, if he did get that call, and he's already manifested and said he wants to play a supervillain because obviously, like he said, it's more fun. He wants to do this and X, Y, and Z. Getting that call from Marvel, I'm sure. He was probably him and his people are probably really considering taking that role, really considering what that could, you know, depending on what the details are from Marvel's end, like how long is it just, and again, I don't believe that it's just going to be for Avengers 5 if that is true or whatever. I believe it's still going to be whatever Marvel had planned for Kang, but revised a little bit. I don't believe it takes him out of the, when I say revised, I mean like Marvel is obviously aware that everything that we've gotten, and your mileage may vary. Actually, I don't even think your mileage may vary on this. Can we all agree at this point that Phase 4, Phase 5 has been shit? Like, it was just shit. Like, it had gems, but it was majority shit. So Marvel is aware of the shit they produced. So with them being aware and cognizant of that, they are going to try to right those wrongs. You know, Kevin Feige said a long time ago, we want Secret Wars, and it has to be. Secret Wars has to be a step up from the Infinity Saga. that film has to top Endgame. It has to top Infinity War. And how do you do that? You revamp. You go back to what that lightning in a bottle looked like the first 4 phases. And I've said this too. The first 4 phases were not all perfect. Phase 3 was not perfect by any means. But we still got gems out of that. Eventually we still got to that Infinity War in Endgame film. And again, once we get there for Secret Wars, I think Marvel can have this all figured out by then. I'm trying to be optimistic. It's 2024, trying to be hopeful, trying to look at the positives instead of the negatives, because every time we talk about Marvel, it is strictly negative. As of late, it's been strictly negative. Regardless, if you go to the happiest of happy Marvel YouTube content creators, they are still saying the same things. Everybody's saying the same things. Marvel is not what they used to be. The cracks are starting to show. It's this or that, X, Y, and Z. So in order for you to get that back, I don't think, again, that you just completely take away the villain that you centered this whole thing around. All you do is and again, I hate that we have to even recast Majors, but now that is the reality of it. Since you are recasting, you recast Majors, you put Domingo in the role. You move forward with the ideas that you had for Kang, but not the wacky shit, whatever Loveness or whoever else was writing for Kang had going on. Let's get back to what Marvel was when it was Endgame, when it was Infinity War, when it was Age of Ultron, some of those great films. And again, that comes with the writing. You had Marcus McFeely, you had Whedon on directing on Ultron. You had the Russo brothers on Winter Soldier, Civil War, Endgame, all those. So it's just, it is a different time. It is a different time. But if Kevin Feige and company can go back to trying to get, the fans back to that space of caring about Marvel once more. And not only this, San Diego Comic-Con, let's look at this. San Diego Comic-Con, the only film coming out for Marvel this year, for the MCU rather, Marvel this year, is Deadpool. The other Marvel films are coming out, but it's not the MCU. You got Kraven the Activist, you got Madam Who Gives a Fuck, and Venom 3 that is shaping out to sound really fucking dumb. So you got those 3 movies that are Elseworld, and then you've got Deadpool 3 that is going to be the only film that takes place during 2024 for the MCU. That film also releases the same week as Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con. And I don't think that obviously that's not by mistake, that's by design. Kevin Feige knows what he's doing. Kevin Feige's been doing this in the MCU for 10 years, but he's been working in comic book films since the 2000s X-Men. So for 23 years, Kevin Feige's been in the Marvel filming space. He's been thinking about this for a long time. He's had interviews where he's talked about the ideas that he's had in his brain since filming of X-Men, since those days. So if he's had all this on his mind since those days, and you got Deadpool 3 that is, I believe Deadpool, if Deadpool is what we have read in the rumors and everything like that, Deadpool's going to be a massive hit. I truly believe that. If it's what we've been reading in the rumors and everything, Deadpool's going to be a massive hit. You may not believe it. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. My opinion right now is I believe Deadpool's going to be a massive hit. And if it is going to be a massive hit, it comes out the exact same weekend as Comic-Con. Once that happens and, it releases, that allows, because let's look at this. The post-credit scenes, the things that are going to happen within Deadpool 3. If he releases Deadpool 3 before Comic-Con in the Hall H, because they didn't go to Hall H last year. Marvel didn't go to Hall H, but if they go to Hall H this year, and he releases Deadpool 3 before then, that then allows him to talk about, at Hall H, the events that happened within Deadpool 3. He's then allowed to talk about what that means for the future moving forward, and he can then clear and make us see a clear plan moving forward. Whatever the post-credit scenes are going to be in Deadpool 3, he'll be able to talk about them and what they mean moving forward. Now, is he going to, in typical Kevin Feige fashion, is he going to give us everything? No, he's not going to give us everything, but he's going to give us that piecing together of what this could possibly mean moving forward. what this event in the movie meant for the future, because we already know Deadpool 3 feeds directly into Secret Wars. So the events of Deadpool 3, what happens at the end of Deadpool 3, feed directly into Secret Wars. Spider-Man 4 has been, we're going to talk about this more tomorrow, but has been moved back to, I believe, 2026. We know that film's, events of that film's lead directly into Secret Wars. We know that the events of Fantastic Four lead directly into Secret Wars. So let's look at what's happening right now. You've got the first half of 2024 where you get fucking Echo, who gives a shit, and I don't care, you know, that's fun, blah, that's great. If you like the trailer, and I like the trailer looked fine in Echo. But again, let's be realistic. Who gives a fuck? No one's looking at, thank you for the super chat, whoever sent that, I'll get to that in just a second. Let's be realistic. No one's looking and checking for Echo. No one's checking for Echo. So with no one checking for Echo, that's one of the first things coming out. What If? Okay, so I watched What If. I didn't watch all of it. I think I watched, let me be completely real with you here. I watched the first 2 episodes of What If. I was completely bored by the Nebula episode. I thought, again, what if we just didn't do that? And then I was even more completely bored. What was the second episode? Oh, if Peter Quill never was taken by Yondu and was given to his father. What if we didn't? Like, I mean, again, I like the what if stuff. The what if stuff is cool sometimes. Sometimes it's cool. But I'm sitting there watching What If and I'm thinking to myself, does it even fucking matter? What I'm watching, does it fucking matter to Secret Wars, to the multiverse, to what's going to go on? Because you can't tell me season 1 did. I haven't seen anything from season 1 bleed into the MCU to fucking matter. We all thought that the Doctor Strange episode was going to bleed into Multiverse of Madness, but it fucking didn't. And since it didn't, all of our interest for What If was like, okay, who cares? Who cares? So I'm watching What If, and I'm not just doing What If this way. This time I'm doing all of Marvel projects right now. And you can look at me one way or whatever, I don't care. You view it how you want to, I'm going to view it how I want to. And I'm looking at Marvel projects this way right now. If it doesn't fucking matter to the overall conclusion of where we're going, I don't give a fuck. I don't. I'm not going to waste my time watching bullshit that doesn't overall matter to where we're going. So if Echo doesn't matter, and I'll tell you what we've heard about Echo so far. We've heard that the first episode, let's dial it back just a little bit. Echo went from 6 episodes to every week to 6 episodes dropping all at once, to 5 episodes dropping all at once, to the Daredevil episode being the 3rd episode, to now the Daredevil episode is the first. Can we read between the lines here? Why do you think they're doing all the shit they're doing with Echo? Because they know they don't have shit with Echo. We're dropping it all at once because no one cares. We're giving you Daredevil first because no one cares. No one's going to sit through 1 episode, 2 episodes, and get to the 3rd episode to finally see Daredevil. And I've heard the shit with Daredevil is very dope. I've heard it's very, very dope. But after that, I've heard, it's okay. Because so what I'm saying is you look at the first half of what's going on in 2024. You get Echo, we've gotten What If, you get Deadpool, and I think that's it. I think that's it. That's the only, movie-wise. I don't know series-wise. I don't know when 97 comes out because we know next to really nothing about 97. Freshman year, is that still a thing? Is it real? I don't know. Series-wise, Marvel Zombies, is it happening? I mean, Agatha, we know series that are coming out, but I'm talking 2024, I don't believe outside of Echo, and please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, outside of Echo, I don't believe there is anything else. So, we're going to get a real crappy beginning to Marvel in 2024, but we all knew that with Deadpool. We all knew that Deadpool was going to be the only thing there. And then in 2025, we're going to start to see kind of some of those things that are going to matter moving forward to Secret Wars. So if we start seeing some of those things and all that stuff starting to matter, like I said, with the Fantastic Four bleeding in, Deadpool bleeding in, Spider-Man bleeding in, whatever other ones we know that are bleeding into Secret Wars, you have the chance there to really take that Kang story and whatever you were going to do with it and kind of revise it a little bit. And I think they've done that a little bit. I don't think they've revised it. I think at one point the conversation was revised because Marvel always has a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We've known that. You know, Marvel might be looking messy right now, but we know that Marvel always has a backup to their backup to their backup plan. So I'm sure on the table the conversation was, in some capacity, Kang will be involved, but we're going to move away from him. I feel like Doctor Doom is going to be involved regardless, but I do not feel now with Colman Domingo in the conversation that he's going to be involved in some capacity. I believe now it's been revised to where Kang is still going to be involved in everything that I named with the Fantastic Four. Going to be involved in that Spider-Man stuff. Now, Spider-Man is going to be ground level, but I'm talking post-credit type of stuff. Going to be involved in, Deadpool. In some capacity, not within the film, post-credit. The same way they used to set up Thanos. So, I don't know. I mean, in this all, I could be completely wrong about all this shit. I don't know. Right now, this news dropped 4 or 5 hours ago? It's speculation with everything right now. We don't know. We have to wait to see what else comes out. We have to wait and see if Colman himself comments on it. We have to wait and see what other scoopers have to say. But I do think it's really cool that, like I said, 2 years ago, he did say he wants to be a supervillain. He wants to play in Marvel or DC. And again, if he's gotten that call from Marvel to play Kang, I believe him and his people are talking about it. And what does that mean for him? And what capacity? Is that going to be the next 10 years? Is that going to be the next 5 years? You know, what does that mean for him? And like they said, with The Walking Dead, the Fear of the Walking Dead wrapping up, that clears up his schedule. He just did The Color Purple. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Let me get to the super chat there. I do appreciate that. That came from Dre Mac. Appreciate that, Dre. He said, peace and blessings, fam. We need to leak. We really do. We keep saying that and we haven't, but we really do. I appreciate that super from you, my brother. Appreciate it. But we do need to link for sure. Read some of the comments here. We got Xavier that said, actually, I'm going to start with Raptor Cloak. Nope, sorry. D-Stizzle said, recasting Kang with another brother will shine extra light on their anti-T'Challa agenda. You know, and I wasn't really going to talk about that, but I do want to say this because there were people, and I'll show this for you guys. There were people on Twitter, you know, I've been on Twitter today kind of discussing some of the stuff going on with, like always, with the recast. Every time Marvel does something, no matter what, people have to understand the recast crowd are going to have but T'Challa. It's always going to be that. You know, it's always going to be but T'Challa. Okay, yes, you know, you're recasting Majors but T'Challa. Okay, you're recasting this but T'Challa. It's going to come back to that every single time. And this was one that I was arguing with a person. Well, not really arguing with a person. I told you, I really don't do that on Twitter with these people. But Buckmeister had posted what he posted about Gamora and how she came back in Volume 3, blah, 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 blah. Somebody said, she died in Infinity War. She came back in Endgame as a variant. T'Challa died from an illness. He's not coming back. To where I just replied to that, and I said, died from an illness in Wakanda. Last I checked, the outside world went to Wakanda to fix their problems / illnesses. Agent Ross, the Winter Soldier, Vision, Asylum from Thanos. All outside Wakanda problems that needed the might and intellect of Wakanda. Died of an illness is lazy. And it is. It's we've talked about that, but to back to what D. Sizzle said about, you know, him saying that they are, exactly what he said, that it's going to keep showing light on the anti-ness of them wanting to recast T'Challa, and that is very true. I mean, I wish this energy was put into recasting T'Challa, and there was somebody else that, and I want to read this too. Somebody else told this guy, and he said, number one, recast T'Challa is not happening unless it's a complete MCU reboot. So before I move to his number two, let's start with his number one. Number one, you're wrong, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. Because you do not have to have a complete MCU reboot to recast T'Challa. I think, you know, like I said this morning on Twitter, some of y'all's takes when it comes to recast T'Challa are so unprepared and stale, so reused, so recycled. Like you guys recycle the same tired rebuttals time and time and time again. And at this point they become lazy and they become you guys haven't put any thought into the replies that you're giving, because for you to say That's not going to happen unless it's a complete reboot. I would like you to expand on your thought of why that's not going to happen unless it's a complete reboot. They do not have to have a complete reboot to recast T'Challa at all. There are incursions currently happening within the MCU. Now, as I've said, I don't really want it to be a variant. I want the T'Challa that we've had, but even further than that, let me keep it in line with where we are in the MCU. I know a lot of us forget Secret Invasion because, again, Phase 4, Phase 5 gave us shit. Secret Invasion, I don't care what you say, no matter how hard Marvel tried to hype it up, and those trailers were dope. I was one of those ones that was so hype on the Secret Invasion trailers. I was like, man, that shit is dope. Nick Fury looks dope in it. I always had the issue with the heroes not being involved because I knew from day one the heroes were not going to be involved in the MCU's version of Secret Wars. I knew that there was no way they were going to do that. So, and I said that shit. Even with Secret Wars, you had the events of Secret Wars that happened within the MCU. You could still say the T'Challa that we watched them beam up in the casket, the vibranium casket, was a Skrull. Because the Skrull, the Rhodey that we've apparently been on a journey with since Endgame, the one that was next to Tony when Tony died, was not the Rhodey that has been with Tony since day one. That was a Skrull. So if you can so easily place a Skrull there and make us think the entire time that was a Skrull all the way until Secret Wars, then you have no problem telling me that was a Skrull in that casket that you beamed up to God knows where. So yeah, you can still reboot T'Challa within this MCU. So like I said, before y'all start coming in with these arguments and your rebuttals, make sure you've done your research. Make sure you've done the research on the beloved cinematic universe that you love so much. Because that's an event within the universe that you love and that you defend so hard. That happened within your universe. Secret Invasion has happened. There are Skrulls within the MCU right now. We saw the events of how Secret Invasion ended. They were just going up and killing people, politicians and people that everybody was suspecting everyone to be a Skrull. So they were just killing people, random people. So that's going on within the MCU right now. So you can't tell me that T'Challa can't be somewhere, I don't know, with the Skrulls or something. So there's plenty of stories within Marvel that they could use. But his number 2 goes on to say, Colman is a great suggestion for Kang. This could possibly shed some light after the Major's mess. Right. So, again, that's great. I think that's a great way to move forward. Colman Domingo going forward as Kang, that I never had, it never crossed my mind from the beginning, but I really support that idea. Then there were other people on here today, because most of it has been recast conversation. Let's see. I'll read some of these here. Somebody said an illness that even vibranium couldn't do much against, and may have been. And yeah, this is a person kind of going against what I said. May have even been a vibranium-born origin. IDK. I'll read that again. It's probably no walk in the park ever, or even for Wakandans best and brightest. So he said an illness, he's rebutting to what I said, an illness that even vibranium couldn't do much against, and may have even been a vibranium-born origin, IDK. Lord have mercy. It's probably no walk in the park, even for Wakanda's best and brightest. And that's what, I get so tired of defending, I guess in order to understand T'Challa, you have to first, or maybe it's vice versa, I don't know. You have to maybe first understand Wakanda. I mean, I know the MCU hasn't done a good job of portraying Wakanda, but we all are aware that Wakanda is the most technologically advanced nation within the Marvel cinematic world, the Marvel comic world, Marvel in general. We're all on that same page? So there is no illness that Wakanda can't cure. Their cures have cures. There's nothing Wakanda cannot do. That's why they don't need help from the outside world. That's why, were we not paying attention to the plot of the first film? I mean, so there's no that whole thing that Wakanda, even Wakanda's brightest, couldn't have healed. Bullshit. And the argument I use every single time, and I'm going to use it every single time. The brightest minds in the MCU, Tony, Bruce, None of them could figure out how to take the stone out of Vision's head without killing Vision. It wasn't until they said, I have an idea. Let's take him to Wakanda. Within seconds of them being in Wakanda, Shuri figured out what they needed to do and how to take the stone out of Vision's head and still keeping Vision alive. So you're telling me, and now let's talk about that. The stone, it's alien. The stone is not from Earth. It's an infinity fucking stone. It's not from Earth. So she wouldn't have been able to study an infinity stone. That was completely alien to her. But within seconds, she figured it out. Something Tony couldn't do. And he figured out the time travel shit. Something Bruce couldn't do. So she figured it out. So you're telling me, if she could figure out an alien-ass stone and take it out of an android's head that she has no emotional, physical, nor cultural or any type of connection to, but she couldn't figure out how to cure the unknown, because we don't know what illness it was, the unknown illness that killed the nation's king and her brother. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. That is the worst argument you could possibly give. Get the fuck. That's why I said, stay out of these fucking spaces if you don't know what you're talking about. There's no way T'Challa should be dead in the MCU. And I don't want to divert it to that type of conversation. I'm done. But that's what it is. And it is when we're talking about Colman Domingo replacing Jonathan Majors, it does still bring up the but T'Challa though, every time. Like, okay, so are we going to see another T'Challa within? And again, I've already told y'all my point of view on this. I don't think so. I'm just arguing T'Challa for the sake of arguing T'Challa for a recast. But I still don't believe that he's going to be in the MCU. I think you'll probably see a version, maybe, and that's a big M-A-Y-B. That's a big M-A-Y-B-E. Okay? Maybe we see a variant T'Challa from a different unit. Maybe. But I wouldn't count on it. I still am of the mindset until Marvel shows me different. Because that's what I have to go off of. I have to go off of what Marvel's telling me, not what... Even with these rumors from My Time to Shine, from Daniel, again, like I said, until Marvel comes out and says that the name Kang Dynasty is no longer the name they're using, it's still Kang Dynasty. Until Marvel comes out and says that we are looking at Colman Domingo, this is just a... So it's the same thing. Until Marvel comes out and tells me themselves that we are going to put T'Challa, not TJ Jr., the great value version of this child that doesn't have a father. Not that. The actual T'Challa back in the MCU, then I'll believe it. But until then, I'm telling you right now, TJ is the way that's where they're going. TJ, the kid. They dug a hole. Why would they then retract on everything they did? And not only that, let's talk about this for a second. Eyes of Wakanda. We know Eyes of Wakanda is coming out. The little animated series that they're doing. Who gives up about that shit either? If T'Challa's not in it. But we know Eyes of Wakanda is about to come out. And we didn't know originally that Coogler was attached to it. But Coogler's attached to Eyes of Wakanda. If Coogler's attached to Eyes of Wakanda, that is still going to play out the narrative of the Wakanda Forever story he wrote, selfishly, which is still going to be T'Challa's dead in the MCU. If Eyes of Wakanda is happening before the events of Wakanda Forever, or after the events of Wakanda Forever, and I believe it is. I believe it's going to happen after the events of Wakanda Forever, because they're going to have to show Wakanda still dealing with not having T'Challa, and I'm sure that's something Coogler is itching to show, and that's something he gets to show even more in depth because it's animated. This is not. You don't have to deal with people's schedules. You don't have to deal with people being sick. You have to deal with people not... this is animated. So he gets to put all of the shit he maybe didn't get to put into Forever still into that. So don't, bro, again, until Marvel tells me that T'Challa's coming back, the T'Challa that they selfishly buried in Wakanda Forever is coming back, that one, that's why I said it's a big maybe that you even get a variant of him in Secret Wars. And I hate to be the Debbie Downer. I hate to be the one to come in here and rain on the T'Challa parade. Y'all know I ride hard for recast. But I'm reading in between the lines. I'm a realist. I see things as they are. And I'm looking at Marvel, looking at their decision, looking at them not making any other type of changes since Wakanda Forever. That's just how I think about it. We'll move to the next comment because, like I said, I don't want to keep. It's not a recast conversation. Thank you for the super chat from RIP Kobe. Says, what is mostly on Captain Britain? Waste of time. Yeah, or he said, what if was mostly on Captain Britain, and that's another thing. I saw somebody say on Twitter, what's the obsession with Captain Britain, to where somebody replied, they don't have an obsession with Captain Britain. You guys just, here's that. And I'm so sick of that. Oh my, and I didn't want to come on here and rant. It's 2024, new me, new year, try to be better and not bitch all the time about Marvel. But it's that thing, bro. It's like, anytime you say anything about something like that, it's, oh, you're being misogynistic. No, shut the fuck up. No one's being misogynistic. No one gives a fuck. Like, that's what I mean when I said I was watching What If, and I was thinking to myself, does it fucking matter? Like, why am I watching Captain Carter become the strongest person? Like, who cares? Who cares? Like, it does not matter to the MCU. It does, or to the Secret War saga. It does not matter. The multiverse, it doesn't. They've not shown us that it does. Season 1 was inconsequential. Season 2 seems inconsequential. We're about to get Season 3, what? They talk about Season 3 is going to drop, what? Maybe this year? I don't give a what if about What If. At all. At all. Let's see. We've got Eon that said, I feel bad for Majors, but I feel a recast will help rebrand the character. Quantumania Kang went out bad. Yep, I mean, I agree. Raptor Cloak said, I don't think any brother should go anywhere near Kang's role after Disney did Majors dirty for the lousy misdemeanor of all things. I mean, I agree with that too. And I agree with that too. That's, I agree to the fact, let me put it this way. Because we talked about it. We talked about that in a way. We talked about, would there be any brothers that would even be willing to pick up the role because of everything, going on, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. We saw that John Boyega, when asked to take on the role, immediately said no. So, it was kind of just the conversation of, is that going to be a ripple effect? Are there going to be other brothers out there that are going to be like, no. Out of solidarity even with Jonathan Majors, maybe. I don't know. So that is a question. Let me see. I'm going to do one from here. Actually, I'll go back big. We got D Stizzle that said they've changed film titles before, right? Xavier said this is an interesting, unexpected move to shift towards Colman Domingo. It only helps with the argument to restore T'Challa. It does. Where was I? Then we got Enon that said I will never be 100% cool with race swapping, to be honest, and I'm agreeing with you. The whole idea around the Fantastic Four originally to race swap them, I was always against that. I don't understand race swapping. If you want to make a character black, then make an original black character, or pull from the black characters that are collecting dust on the shelves. If you want to make a character Asian, Hispanic, Native American, whatever, then either take the ones you're not using and give them life, or create an original character. But to change to race swap or gender swap a character that is already established. Thank you for that other super chat. I will get to that one in just a second as well. It just doesn't make sense. D Stizzle said, you'll need Doom in Secret Wars, in my opinion. Using Kang in his stand never made sense. I was just talking, so when I saw the news for Colman Domingo, I was saying, I never understood, you guys have heard me say that here, I've never understood how you do Secret Wars without Doom. That just never made sense to me. And I said this too, if you go back to when they first announced Secret Wars, you watch that stream, I said, it's one part, Secret Wars is going to be one movie? That never made sense to me either. And we've since heard that it's possibly going to be 2 parts, maybe 3 parts. And to me, that's the only way you can accurately tell Secret Wars. I think one of the things we saw, I think it was Daniel RPK, I don't remember if it was Daniel RPK that said it or Jeff Snyder on the hot mic talking about it, but they were saying that the current cut right now, or the current outline, is 5 hours, a little over 5 hours long. And I'm like, I mean, and that's split in 2 movies, obviously, kind of like Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah. In order to properly tell Secret Wars, it's gotta be. But yeah, Doom's gotta be involved. Let's see. I'm gonna skip over. I'm going to the ones I see that stand out. Jordan G said, Colman is an amazing actor. I just know he would eat. Yeah, he would. Xavier said, this is why I feel Wakanda Forever missed the opportunity to further the plot of T'Challa and set up Doom for Secret Wars. And again, listen, guys, don't let Marvel lie to you and tell you, or don't anyone else out there lie to you and tell you that Doctor Doom was never a part of Wakanda Forever, that he was never going to be in a post-credit scene for Wakanda Forever. Before they decided to selfishly kill T'Challa, and even after they decided to selfishly kill T'Challa, Doom was still a part of that one of those post-credit scenes. So Don't let the internet try to make you believe that you're crazy and that we didn't see those fucking post-res pics and all that shit. No, we saw all that. It was all going to happen at one point before they made the major shift in Wakanda Forever that they made. Doom was not in the film, but he was in a post-credit scene. And I don't even think we were going to see him fully. But it was going to be enough to know that, hey, that's Victor Von Doom. Let's see. We've got D-Sizzle said a super villain. Happy New Year, Raymond, to you too. Appreciate you being here, Groovy. Appreciate you being here, Gray. Gray said, that's right up Marvel's alley right now. Iris Blake said, Coleman is great, but he's not, and that's true. That's true. Coleman's great, but he's not Majors. This whole thing doesn't make me want to buy a movie ticket. I just want to stay at home and watch this on FX. And you know what? That's the thing. I like Colman Domingo. I would like to see him in the role. I think he could do something with the role. But at the end of the day, it does go back to what you just said. He is not Majors. He is not bringing what Majors brought to the role. One of the things we all, I even talked about this when I did the stream Surviving Oprah Winfrey. The conversation around Majors was the next face, the next black face, the next face that we can get to replace Majors. But the one thing everyone is missing from that is the reason Marvel placed Majors in the role to begin with. If you go back and you watch, it's not. I've seen a lot of people saying if you watch the, it might be in there, I don't know, the little Marvel things that they do, the behind the scenes things on Disney Plus. They show the making of the films. It might be on there, I don't know. But if you watch the featurette, they talk about it in the featurette, where they talked about how they didn't know a clear way to go with Majors at the beginning. They didn't, or not with Majors, sorry, villain for the new phase. They didn't know who it was going to be. But when they called Majors in to do He Who Remains, they saw his audition, they were like, that's it. Kang the Conqueror with Jonathan Majors. We're going to center this whole thing around him. He's our way forward. He's the path. So when they did that, that was purely based off of Jonathan Majors' amazing acting skills. Like I said, he's a world-class actor. So when you have a world-class actor like Jonathan Majors and you've now fired that world-class actor like Jonathan Majors, yes, Colman Domingo is great. He is great. And I believe Colman Domingo is considered a world-class actor. But he's still not, I don't know that. And again, I want to be fair because I said the same. I use this as an example all the time. Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix is by no means Heath Ledger when it comes to the Joker. By no means. But he did a damn good job as the Joker. And that's my all-time favorite comic book villain. So he did a damn good job as the Joker. So I would say, I agree with you. He's not Majors, but to be fair, the same way we're trying to be fair with recasting T'Challa and saying, that you can't just pin that one role on Chad and then say no one else could ever touch it because that means that we never get to see the potential or what someone else could do with that role. So I agree, but I also would like to see what Colman could do in that role. We got Gray that said the first three phases had a gradual build up to Infinity War and Endgame. This multiversal saga has been just disjointed, disappointing, and discombobulated, and that's very true. That's very true. There's so many missing pieces. Even like we read in CBR, if you take away Kang, that just opens a door of many more missing pieces, many more of the things, you know, that we're wondering about. Let me see. I think I had another super. I had the super here from Caliber that said, this is raggedy. Bring back Majors after this stuff clears up. No Majors, no movie ticket. Hashtag Jonathan Majors. Hashtag justice for Majors. And you know what? And thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate that. And you know, like I said, I see everybody's point on that because I agree. I do. It goes back to what I was just saying to Eros there, but I agree. I do agree. I want to see Majors in the role. They are where they're at with it, and now eyeing Colman. But I do agree to an extent. I do. Jordan said Deadpool definitely being one of the biggest movies of this year. Oh yeah, for sure. And Marvel knows that. Like I said, just the timing of when it's releasing, them doing Hall H, they know that. Kevin Feige's, I'm sure, lining all that up. So again, that'd be really cool if we see the events of Deadpool 3, then we watch everybody paying attention to Hall H and all the news comes out from San Diego Comic-Con, then Kevin Feige's talking about events from the film, the post-credit scenes, what it could possibly mean, pieces together, kind of giving fans just a clear vision of, okay, you don't have to tell us the end game, obviously, but can we get some type of clear consensus of what the fuck is going on in the MCU right now? Like, can we, this is kind of old news. John Walker, who plays John Walker? What's his name? I forget who plays John Walker, the actor. But he's talked about, he was saying it's time for Marvel to be good again. It's time for Marvel movies to be good again. And he was talking about how it's going to start with the Thunderbolts. We'll see. If it's going to happen with the Thunderbolts. Daniel RPK recently also said that he saw, what's his name? I forget the actor's name also. God. That's playing Sentry. Saw him trying on the suit, and he said he thinks it's by far probably one of the coolest MCU Cinematic Universe suits we've seen. So we'll have to wait to see what that looks like too, though. But is Thunderbolts going to address what we know Thunderbolts is supposed to address? Tiamat Island, which is Tiamat, the celestial that was, I know it was a long time ago, but if you can remember, that was prevented from being born in Eternals. And it's just sticking out the fucking ocean, and no one's talked about it in the MCU. Like, no one's talking about it, a gigantic fucking celestial sticking out of the ocean. It's not been mentioned once. When did that film come out? That was the first film after Endgame. Wasn't it? Yeah, it was. That was the first. That shit hasn't been talked about since then. There are many other plot holes that we haven't talked about, that have not been talked about since then. But again, if you remove Kang, in my opinion, it just opens even more plot holes. And Marvel knows that. So them setting up Hall H, setting up Deadpool 3 to be the only film for 2024, which allows them to put all their eggs and time into that basket. Yeah. I'm rooting for Deadpool 3. I really am. Raptor Cloak said it's been the MFCU for the past couple of years, outside of select few years. Let's see, we got Gray that said Marvel thought that they were too big for Hall H in recent years. Right, and Marvel's been humbled these past few years. Marvel has had to be humbled. They didn't do Hall H last year for whatever reasons, and but we know they're going to do it this year. Gray said, "What if I gave a fuck?" Andre said, "I haven't seen any of What If." SB Flash said, "You don't waste your time." SB Flash said, "The sad part is, What If is the most positive Marvel content received." And that that is true. That is true. There hasn't been anybody really negatively talking about What If. It's just, it's still the same rhetoric of just what if we just didn't. But, it's the same. Yeah. Jordan said, what if the mutants were already here, that's what they should have been doing. Yeah, you know. And what is that going to look like? What is the Mutant Saga going to look like moving forward and things? I did not mean to scroll that far down, but I'll just start here. We got... I don't want to pronounce that wrong. I don't want to pronounce it wrong, so I'm gonna. But I do appreciate. She said, if it's true, that's the perfect replacement. But again, agreed. Silver Wishes said, to be honest, I don't really care about Kang, and you're in line with a lot of other people that, you know, are just wanting them to move on from Kang. A lot of people are just don't give a fuck. They want them to move on from Kang. They don't care where this Kang story goes. A lot of people, honestly, it's Marvel's fault that a lot of people don't give a fuck about Kang, because, you know, I know Josh has said that, you know, he never cared about the Kang, but that's not true. Josh was very high on the Kang character in those early days, like a lot of us were. But Marvel, the sad part about it is Marvel did not do a good job of making us give a fuck about Kang. The same way Marvel has not given and I talked about how Marvel's done a poor job of making fans give a fuck about Carol Danvers, and I know a lot of people like to twist that and say that it's Brie Larson, but it's not. That's Marvel's fault. Marvel, there are plenty of dope-ass stories in Marvel Comics that involve Captain Marvel Carol Danvers that you could easily do. Her still dealing with shit from the first movie, that's a Marvel issue, and so I would say the same thing for them with Kang. Marvel didn't do a good job of making us give a fuck. Gray said, let me see, I'm sorry, Tyler Valentine said, would a variant of T'Challa be better than no T'Challa at all, or full push for OG MCU T'Challa? I think a variant over no T'Challa would be great, you know, obviously. But then again, it goes back to, for me, the original would still be better, because you still have an out. You still have an out with that. You know, it's that same story, like we always say, well, no one ever saw a body. It's the same argument that people are using with Wanda Maximoff right now as the Scarlet Witch. You know, we all know that the Scarlet Witch is not dead in the MCU. We all know that the Scarlet Witch still has a major role to play in the stories going on in the MCU. We know that the Scarlet Witch has a role to play with her son in Wiccan that's going to be in Agatha. We know that the Scarlet Witch is going to have a role to play in the Vision Quest that's still happening. All of that. So, you know, the Scarlet Witch, even Wanda's supposed to be still getting her own movie, you know. So we know the Scarlet Witch is not dead, but, you know, from the Reign of Marvel book and from what Kevin Feige has said, she is dead. That's what they say. Well, no, Kevin Feige said, I don't remember his exact words. He did not say she was dead, though. But the argument that everybody's using with that is we did not see a body. You did not see a body when Wonder Gore came down. Yeah, we saw Wonder Gore come down, but she is the fucking Scarlet Witch. So, you know, she's more than likely not dead, and not more than likely she's not. The conversations of Tony coming back, even though it's not going to be the Tony of, you know, that made the sacrifice in Endgame, it's still going to be RDJ as Tony. No matter how they twist the wording, it's still going to be RDJ as Tony. It's still going to be Captain. It's still going to be Chris Evans as Cap. As of right now, Scarlett Johansson says she's not coming back, but that's bullshit too. They're all coming back. So I think that if, you know, we have all these characters coming back and everything like that, then there is plenty of storyline to where you could give an out for T'Challa. Again, we didn't see a body. All we heard was the morbid heartbeats at the beginning of the film that slowly faded when you killed him. That was it. We didn't see a body. Then we saw the depressing ass funeral. Has anybody ever been that depressed in a Marvel film? That's my thing. I have never. And you know, that was my whole argument when we were going so hard before Wakanda Forever. Never, ever in my ever in the fuck have I sat down in a Marvel film and been depressed. Never. There are how many Marvel films? 30-something? It's 30-something Marvel films, all these series, and the only film that you are depressed in is Wakanda fucking Forever. And the argument with that I used was, why am I going to a Marvel film, something that is fiction, okay? Something that has a tree talking to a goddamn raccoon, a purple giant titan destroying the universe for stones, for rocks, a man traveling from a completely different universe and space and time all together and coming back and because he knows how it all ends. a giant green man passing out tacos in a flannel shirt, and you're expecting me, you want me to suspend my belief? Like, so the thing was, if all of that can happen, and all those things can go on in the MCU, then why in the fuck is that one of them? Then why in the fuck? Sorry, one of my cats are messing. Okay. Sorry. That made me lose my train of thought. But anyway, fuck Wakanda Forever. Recast T'Challa. Let's see. SSJ4 Trev said, let's leave a like on the stream from a man for the culture. Appreciate it. Please leave a like on the stream. JD75 said, it's not hard to see they can bring him back. They don't want to. That's really it too. Let's see. We got Dre Max at Fax Bro. We got, unknown cancer. Right. You know, I can't. I can't. SB Flash. Oh, wasn't talking to me. Sorry. Scrolling down a little bit more. Shuri. Jordan said, Shuri should have stayed the scientist. You know, and here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Shuri going on to do great things as she does in the comics and everything. That's not the issue. The issue is just that you did it at the expense of T'Challa. Like, you killed him to either appease some feelings on your own. Did it to who?
He got out of the room and attacked Katniss.
How'd he get out?
Tore all those nails off.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, my cats are being bastards. Grace said the Braddock family is somewhat pissed. Yeah, that too. And you still got. I'm not even gonna talk about that stuff today. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Andre said, until Marvel gets things together, we're all gonna rant, and that's really it. Tim's talks. Appreciate you being here. Tim said on your left. I appreciate it. Tim said, what if was fun, but the power scaling did not make sense to me. You know, I didn't watch this episode. I did see a scene though. The Native American character that they created, what is her powers? I saw her snap and make maybe she snapped, or maybe I looked at it wrong. I don't know. She like glowed and Thanos disappeared. What are her powers? Is she like one of the most powerful characters in Marvel now? I don't know. I really don't. I don't pay attention to shit. I've stopped paying attention to shit I don't care about. The Jinx said, what if totally nerfed the Infinity Stones and made them ineffective and inconsequential? I think that's the same scene where she like glowed or something and like snapped Thanos away. Groovy said, I put money they make Captain Britain main character in Secret Wars. I'm sure she'll be a part. Let's see. Nico Bean said, so Colman Domingo, doesn't he fit the bill for T'Challa? Like, what the fuck? He's so damn hard about recasting your main character for most profitable franchise. Yeah. Dre said, it's all solidarity until a check is cut. Yeah. Let's see. Scroll down a little. D-Stizzle said... But he did say the purple heart-shaped herb in his system might as well have been basically purple Kool-Aid. Andre said he'll never watch Wakanda Forever again. I did. I haven't seen it since the theater. Kate, I appreciate you being here. Mr. Playing Kang. Yeah, Mr.'s playing Kang. Possibly. Let's see. Grace said Grace Randolph called her Tesseract Pocahontas. Oh, I did see that. I saw that. I didn't see that video, but I did see where people were saying how she called her Tesseract Pocahontas. Yeah, I did see that. I was like, man, folks just be... I did see that, though. I did see that. So what are her powers? I didn't see. Did anybody tell me what her powers are? Oh no. DeJinx said powers was everything you can think. Everything you can think of, she can do. Oh shit, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Terrell. Yeah, bro. He said, "Oh, they recasting Kang the Conqueror, but not recasting T'Challa." Yeah. Now that's funny. So she's basically, this character that's going to be in Agatha, the Green Witch, is going to be the most powerful witch in the MCU, even more powerful than the Scarlet Witch. This is a character that the MCU has made up, the Green Witch. That's how much effort went into naming this character, the Green Witch. Yeah. Let's see. Diesel says spoilers. Captain Carter got the OP Gaia upgrade. Oh, I saw the picture of her with like Hela's, like she had everybody's shit. I saw it. I saw the picture. I was like, yeah, I won't be watching. I won't be checking because I just don't care. If it meant something, I just don't, and it doesn't. And Marvel's not gonna keep stealing my time, as of right, and this might sound, y'all might be like, ooh, okay, that's really hurting Marvel's pockets. I understand it's really not, but you guys know we watch every Marvel film in IMAX. Every Marvel film, we go to the IMAX theater. No, I'm not spending those Marvel. Okay, so when we go to the IMAX, the tickets are fucking $20. It's $20 for the damn ticket. $20 a ticket. You got to get popcorn. I'm not going to the movie theater. I'm not getting popcorn. You got to get popcorn and everything. So by the time I walk out, I've spent maybe $40. That's $40 on. I've spent $40. I'm mad about spending $40. I want my money back because I'm disappointed at the bullshit I just watched. I wasted my time. The Warren Theater's not in my town, so we have to drive to a different town to go to the Warren. No. That's a waste of my time, a waste of my money. So I'm going to go in here to the local theater and watching that shit in standard for fucking $7. I'm not wasting my time on spending time with Marvel and shit like that anymore. So that's just where I am with it. That's where I am with the Gaia and the what if Captain Carter shit and all that. I just don't care. Jordan said Killmonger snapped Thanos behind him. Oh. Is that what that was? I just saw her glow, and I thought her glow had something to do with it. I do remember seeing Killmonger in it. But didn't she just made Killmonger disappear, though? The Tesseract girl. Like, she just made... Is that her name? What's her name? Don't have me on here calling her Tesseract girl. What's her name? But I'm not interested in any of that. Grace said she got the power to end colonization. I'm not. Jordan said she's fast and has the Tesseract teleportation powers. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's her name. Kai. Who? Kahori? I don't know, but I also don't care. So, Raptor Cloak said, unless Nate Moore and Ryan Coogler back off, I keep T'Challa and Blue Marvel out of the MCU unless they get better writers that cut the crap. Yeah. Well, like I said, not excited for that stuff, but I am excited for Deadpool. I'm here for that. So let's just start that now, so for everybody knows. The road to Deadpool starts now. We are going to be covering we've already been covering it, but we're going to be covering everything Deadpool from here until its release in May. So the road pool, 4 months. The road to Deadpool starts now. All right, so we're going to be covering all that shit. So all the leaks, the rumors, the pictures, everything. I'm just ready for Deadpool at this point. And the main thing I'm ready for Deadpool, it's the X-Men. That's what I want to see. I just want to see X-Men. One thing that we know about Deadpool, it's not just going to be like some of the it's going to be X-Men that we haven't even seen. Like, like X-Men. It's from the way that Jeff Snyder worded on the hot mic, it's going to basically be an X-Men film. I mean, I'm excited for it. I really am. I've been trying to watch anything X-Men lately. I watched X-Men X2 the other day. Whew, hard. Watched, those films still are good. They're good films. It's just like, man, I want to see the X-Men done today, though. That's it. I want to see the X-Men done today. So, yeah. So the road to Deadpool starts. We're going to be covering that. Then I'm going to be back tomorrow. We got a lot of things we got to talk about tomorrow as far as just Marvel things that they're doing. Like, I mean, I'll name off some of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow. Let me see. We're going to talk Venom. We're going to talk a little bit about Venom 3. We're going to talk a little bit about Spider-Man 4. We're going to talk a little bit about what's the other? The Joker 2 and the photos from that. We'll talk a little about the Avatar and some of the photos that come out from that and the trailer that we're supposed to be getting soon for that. And then we'll see what else comes out tomorrow as far as news goes, because like I said, something comes out typically daily, so we'll see. But I wanted to jump on here with you guys this evening and just kind of go over the Colman Domingo stuff and then what that could possibly mean. That's what at the top of the show I talked about that, so that's my thoughts. That's what I think about Colman. As more stuff comes out about it, if more things come out about it, as Colman comments, if he does, if Marvel comments or more scoops or things come out, of course we'll be covering it. I'll be covering it here for you guys and keep you guys in the loop, keep you guys in the know as best as I can, keep you guys in the know what's going on with Deadpool 3. As much as I don't want to, I'm going to keep you guys in the know. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much, Reese. Reese said, did Darius see the Aldis, or did I see that Aldis said he would want to be the next T'Challa? I did not. It's on Fandom Wire. I did not see that. No, I did not see that. He said that on Fandom Wire. Thank you so much for the super chat too, Reese. Let's see. Fandom Wire right there. Hold on, I'm trying to pull this. That's loading. Oh, he even went into... Okay, hold on. I don't want to read it off of their site. I fucking hate their site. Okay, Fandom Wire's loading. Okay. Have y'all seen this? I did not. Thank you for this, Reese. I'll end it on. I'll end tonight on this. I did not see this. It says Chadwick Boseman's portrayal of the Black Panther. Well, let's go back up here so you can see what the title says. Thank you for this, Reese. I did not see this. Chadwick Boseman. One Black Adam star could nail the role of Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther if the MCU decides to bring T'Challa back in Avengers 6. Chadwick Boseman's portrayal of Black Panther was one of the greatest iterations of the character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. His passing left a huge void not only in the franchise but also in the hearts of fans. There had been a lot of rumors circulating that the studio could potentially revive the character in future installments, particularly in the upcoming Avengers saga. In fact, fans have already suggested one actor from Black Adam's franchise to take on the role. Fans suggested Aldis Hodge to become the new Black Panther. Now, Aldis Hodge was always he was my number one. He was who I really wanted them to go with from the very beginning. and there were other names on my list too, but Aldis Hodges was at the top of my list. It said a fan from Twitter shared that Aldis Hodges, who played Hawkman in the Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam, could be the next Black Panther. Check out this post below. Aldis Hodges would be my top nomination to play the next T'Challa / Black Panther post Avengers Secret Wars. His username is The One Guy. In an interview with the Examiner via Comic Vine, Hodges expressed his love for the character of Black Panther. He claimed to have read the comic books, and when Marvel announced that he would join the MCU, the actor felt very ecstatic. He went on to say, "I want the fans to know that the one role I really want to play is Black Panther." Now, come on, Aldis, where the fuck were you been? Where were you during recast? You'd have been saying it then, though. I appreciate it, though. I'll take it. He said, "I grew up loving the Marvel world and grew up on the martial arts. I still train." Nice. He said, when Black Panther came around, he was almost like an African American Batman. Okay. I can't go into this right now. I'm going to recover this tomorrow, though. This is going to be a topic for tomorrow, for sure. For sure. This is going to be, I'm just going to read the article. I'm not going to get my thoughts on this shit right now, because if I do, we're going to be here like another hour, and I can't. So I'm going to just finish the article, then I will read the article again tomorrow, and it'll be a whole segment tomorrow. He says, "I want fans to know that the one role I really want to play is Black Panther. I grew up loving the Marvel world and grew up on martial arts. I still train. When Black Panther came around, he was almost like an African-American Batman." He went on to say the actor has also been very vocal about bringing Black Panther into the world because of diversity and representation. Is my microphone on? This is what the anti-recasters be telling us to shut the fuck up for on Twitter. This is what I was arguing with people about literally today on Twitter. This is why it's important. Again, I can't. If I do, I'll be here. Okay. He then said, "How many African American kids?" Oh my God. Okay. All right. Okay. How many African American kids or Latin kids, any kids of any culture or any ethnic group, can look at someone up there and say, "Wow, I could be that"? We don't have that very often at all. In the comic book world, there are very few African American characters that just need to explore them. Okay, he goes on to say, "As someone who grew up following the story of Black Panther, Hodges revealed he found a certain connection to the character, and it made him feel that he could also become a superhero. I grew up in the Marvel Universe. The Black Panther was my connection to make me feel like I could be a superhero." And again, for all of us that grew up on those Black Panther comics, that ride so hard for the Black Panther, that why we say that it's so important to recast the character. That is why, because we felt a special connection. Don't get me wrong. I grew up on Superman. I grew up on Spider-Man. I grew up on Batman. White. I could not make a personal connection to Superman. I could not make a personal connection to Spider-Man. I could not make a personal connection to Bruce Wayne. I could not make a personal connection to any of the others. Why? Because at the end of the day, they're cool. They're dope. They're superheroes. But they don't look like me. The representation factor is not there. I can't look at Superman and say I see myself. I can't look at Spider-Man and say I see myself. I can't look at Bruce Wayne and say I see myself. The only time I've ever in comic book history been able to look at a character, the first time in comic book history I was able to look at a character and say I actually see myself, I actually could see myself in the fictional world being this character, was I wasn't born then, but it was when they created the character. Back in the 60s, during the Civil Rights Movement. And again, I've talked about why they created him during the Civil Rights Movement and why that fucking was so significant and important. So for Aldis Hodges to be sitting here, basically saying what every recaster has been saying for the past 2 years and beyond. It is important for this character to continue because I grew up in the Marvel Universe and Black Panther was my connection to make me feel like I could be a superhero. And the Avengers movies falls right into it because the Ultimate Avengers 2, he knows his shit. Comic book series is how Black Panther gets introduced, so it would flow naturally. There it is. Cut the crap. Cut the bullshit. There's no more fucking, I don't know, let Marvel grieve, you're being insensitive. No, you're being a dumbass. The world moves on. I'm not being insensitive because I grieved Chadwick Boseman when Chadwick Boseman passed in 2020. I grieved when you selfishly shoved that shit down my throat when I had to watch it in theater. You made me relive that moment. I grieved when I watched the casket go up. I grieved when I watched his wife talk about it on the 2020 special with whoever the fuck that was. I grieved when I watched the cast grieving and talking about how sad it was. Don't make it sound like the recast crowd is insensitive, because we're not. Don't make it sound like the recast crowd doesn't give a fuck about their feelings, because we do. What we're saying is, it's been enough time. What we're saying is, Hollywood moves on. What we're saying is, we never said you had to insert T'Challa in Wakanda Forever. We simply said you never had to kill him. You never had to put him 6 feet under the ground, because the character culturally is too fucking important for him not to be on screen. Representation matters, and I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care where you come from. Representation matters. And unless that representation is inserted on screen, we are never going to have superheroes that look like us. Why do you think all those black little girls, when Little Mermaid came out, their parents were filming them? Because they were all elated to see, oh my God, this is a Disney princess that looks like me. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, you guys got Tiana. Fuck you. Because in the Princess and the Frog, Tiana is what? The black princess for what? The first 15 to 20 minutes of the movie? The entire fucking movie, she's a frog. So fuck you on that representation. That's not represent. We can, again, I don't have time for it tonight. I don't. But that's just cut the bullshit. That's it right there. Aldis Hodge has answered the question and said definitively what we've all been saying for the past 2 years, and that is simply that the character should be continued. And again, he knows his shit. For him to throw in there the Ultimate Avengers, he knows his shit. That's something we want too. We've talked about getting actors and writers and directors and people in here that know these characters, that can bring these characters to life. Okay, and then the last thing it says here for will there be a Black Panther 3? I didn't see this. It says the future of the franchise has been uncertain for quite some time until director Ryan Coogler decided to push through with the sequel. Now that he has finished Wakanda Forever, he addressed via Variety the potential of a third installment. When did he talk about this? Was this old? He said, I love making movies, but to quote a character in our movie, I gave this everything. Oh yeah, this is old. I'm at a place where I think I've got the press tour in me, and then I've got to sit down, and reflect, probably cry a lot, because I've been holding that back. And again, I'm not diminishing Ryan's feelings. If Ryan is still grieving, that's his prerogative. That's his business. I'm not diminishing that man's grief. What I'm saying is, if he's still grieving, then professionally and respectfully remove him from the project, because he's going to still be inserting his personal feelings into the project. We don't need that. Then the last thing it says, he said, probably crying, I've been holding that back, and then from there, figure out whatever's next. It remains to be seen what Marvel Studios has planned for Black Panther, as replacing Chadwick Boseman still seems to affect many fans. Okay, well, like I said, I personally, thank you so much for that, Reese, for sending that in there. I did not know that Aldis Hodges reported on that, but I'm going to do a little bit more research on that, and I am definitely going to be covering this more tomorrow. That's a great story, and I think right now, as pro recasters, we need to be I didn't know this. I did not know that story came out. We need to take that story, and I don't know, maybe I knew, maybe you all have, others have seen this. I haven't though. Take that story. That story needs to be blasted. That needs to be the Dre, Chill. Theo, we all need to get together. We all need to be discussing this. Nico, we all need to get together, and we need to be discussing this on live together. We cannot let that recast hashtag die, especially when you have an actor that we've been placing in those recast spaces. We've all been saying we want an Aldis Hodges, we want a Damson Idris, we want a John David Washington. We now have one of the names we put forward saying why it's important. We got to rally behind that. We have to rally behind that and make it as important as we did before we saw For Never. So I'm going to be working on that. We need to get together. But I do appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thank you so very much for that, Reese. That was a great catch, a great read there. That was exciting. I appreciate everybody there. I'm just kind of reading those last few comments. Caliber said, where you been? I'm back, bro. I'm back. I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody, thank you for that. And thank you for another super chat from Reese. He said, I'm making letter for Aldis, and can I please help Darius with that? Yes, please. You have my personal Instagram. So anything that you would like to help with, please re-skip with me. I would love to involve you with anything. So I appreciate everybody. Appreciate you guys being here tonight. Appreciate Raymond. Appreciate Gray, Raptor Cloak, SP Flash, Caliber, D Sizzle, Cornelius, Connoisseur Triple Salute, Xavier, JD75, Xavier Phoenix, Juan Network. Appreciate you being here. I haven't seen you in a while, bro. Appreciate you being back. Who else is on here? Caliber, appreciate you in the super chats tonight. SP Flash, Dre Mac, appreciate you stopping by. Reese, appreciate you and all those the great catch you got for us tonight. Appreciate Jordan, appreciate SSJ4, Trev, appreciate you. I appreciate Terrell, appreciate you dropping by tonight. If I'm missing names, I do apologize. I'm just scrolling up. K-Dot, appreciate you being here. Anthony, appreciate you being here. Anthony asked me a question, though. He said, do you think Marvel wants to recast Kang in order to restore the black income for their stories? You know, that's a great question. That is a great question. Diversity is heavy on Marvel's minds. It's something that, you know, we know Kevin Feige has been talking about how important diversity is. They want, you know, even if it's at the expense of being poorly directed diversity is something that's on their mind. So we've talked about how important the black dollar is, and I do believe that is something that Marvel and the industry and everybody's aware of. So I mean, look at BP1, 1.3 billion speaks for itself. Let's see. Appreciate Tim. Appreciate you coming by here. Appreciate Grime. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? Appreciate Eon. Appreciate you being here tonight. The Jinx. Appreciate you. Andre. I think I said your name already. I think I touched on everyone. But I appreciate everybody. If I missed you, Tyler, I see you in there. Appreciate you too. If I missed you, I apologize. Eros, I saw you too. Appreciate you. But thank you guys for all being here tonight. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the likes. If you haven't smash that like button, and I will be clipping that last part there. Like I said, I think everybody needs to take that link, and I will go ahead and do this here for you guys. Take this link that I just put in the chat, and I'll pin it. Take that link. That link needs to be blasted. Like I said, Aldis Hodge is talking about it. So if he's talking about it, that's a name that we've put up there. We need to rally behind that. So thanks again, everybody. Everybody enjoy your night. I will see everybody tomorrow. Rico, appreciate you being here again. You too. Ricardo, didn't see you down there earlier. Appreciate you being here. Thank you guys. Professor Film Fan, saw you too. Thank you. And I will see you guys all tomorrow evening for another stream. And we're going to dive a little bit more into that article and some more things there if I can find something. Everybody be safe. Take care. Happy New Year. Appreciate you being here. Much love. And I will see you all in the next video.